This country is experiencing two epidemics right now. One, of course, is the coronavirus, which much has been made of over the last several months. But it's also becoming very clear that we have been suffering for a long time through an epidemic of racism. And so it is up and center for this country and actually for most of us who have feeling hearts. It is my hope that this country at some point will find a healing for the sickness that we have, that sickness of racism as well as for the coronavirus, that we will move into another phase. It seems to me in addressing racism, the first thing we should do is listen. This week we had a conversation with Tim Smith, our music director. Maybe you'd just like to tell us how you're feeling these days.
How am I feeling is a really big question. I'm feeling a lot of different things. It changes from one moment to the next. I'm feeling afraid. Up and down, tired, sometimes angry. Amidst all of it, I feel blessed. I'm afraid for my physical safety. I'm afraid for my kids. I'm afraid, I think perhaps most of all, of losing my faith in humanity. It's an open wound. It's not only never been healed, but it has continued to be picked at, pried and clawed open, and shot and stabbed and raped and murdered. You talked last week about the serenity to accept the things you cannot change. And this is not that. This is not a time for serenity or acceptance. This is a time for courage and change. In fact, it's way, way past time. I feel that George Floyd was just a voice that finally some people have heard.
Yes.
The voices have been crying out for 400 years. I know from my own perspective that this is real. I understand that there are perspectives. You may be somebody who doesn't see it, who doesn't feel it, and doesn't live it on a daily basis. And maybe it's hard for you to believe that it's real. I can tell you it's real. There are millions of people of all colors and all faiths in the streets right now telling you that it's real. This may feel a little bit like preaching to the choir. You know, a lot of us are unity, and that means that we know and we understand that God is in every one of us.
Yes.
We understand and we know that Black lives matter,
Mm-hmm.
and brown lives matter,
Mm-hmm.
and LGBTQ lives matter.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, maybe some of us are not unity. Maybe some of us don't fully realize that or accept it, or I don't know. What can we do? What can I do? What can you do? What can we do to change this? What we've been forced to realize is that America has a pre-existing condition known as racism.
Right.
And one known as hatred.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. It's the confluence of the pandemic and
Mm-hmm.
George Floyd's killing and Breonna Taylor. And there's a whole lot of other names, that we don't even know. What would Martin Luther King think? I can't speak for him, but I think he'd be furious. I think he'd be enraged.
But being a man of faith,
So that's being a man of faith. He's still a man.
right?
And it's been a long time.
And it's been a long time. Listen to what he said when he was alive. How do we think he would feel now? 50 years later, we're still dealing with the same stuff. Only now it's worse because some people can say, oh, that doesn't even exist.
Mm-hmm.
You can pretend it doesn't exist. I can't pretend it doesn't exist. I don't have that luxury. I don't have that privilege. As a person of faith, I feel like I'm being asked to stand quietly while my people continue to be murdered brutally. And I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. And no, I'm not going to stand quietly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm asking you, I don't care who you are and what color you are or what race or religion or anything, it doesn't matter. I'm asking you, listen when people are crying out for help. Don't make excuses about what else needs to be fixed or what other problems there are, or so-and-so is trying to get you to think such and such, or listen. And then no, you don't have to remain silent either. You can talk to people. You can share your opinions and your experiences. We can't do this alone. I'd like to say the names of just a few of the people who have lost their lives. Javier Ambler, Stephen Clark, Atatia Jefferson, Eric Harris, Emmett Till, Walter Scott,